Hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. I'm Mika, by the way. And this is my witchy book review and live chat. I'm going to be doing something a little different with when I go live. I'd like to have it more, a little bit. I mean, I'm still going to be reviewing things, but not in the way that I've been doing it. Most likely, I'll continue. I mean, I'll start doing a thing where I'm having more of a discussion, current topics, things like that, always with a spiritual, esoteric, witchy bent to it, because honestly, in my opinion, a lot of things already are that way. If you live your life, if you're a spiritual minded person and you're on a spiritual journey of sorts, you see patterns, you see the things. As humans, we're trained to see patterns. Not trained, we kind of, yeah, trained, and part of it is just like intuitive. We see the patterns, but that's not a bad thing. That's can be really helpful with the way things are going on in the world, and you can see a deeper meaning. It means you're not as affected by things the way maybe others are, because you see the bigger picture, and it's not to make it seem like you're better, but it just, you're more aware. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, um so we're gonna get into the review, and the first thing I want to talk about, I got my apothecary at home box. So I did get this is how it comes. Isn't this nice? It's such a nice box. So let me move some other stuff out the way. So I did a quick glance at it, and that's it. But I am really enjoying the box. I'm really enjoying the stuff that comes in the box. So first off, you get you get a book or a booklet, and it's basically kind of, there's a theme every month. So there's not just random stuff that they're sending you, but this is herbs for energy and focus, which I think is good. Think about the phase that we're going in soon, astrological phase. It's the seventh. A lot of people consider this the shadow period for Mercury retrograde. It's not that I don't believe it or I dispute that it's the shadow. I like to not give in too much, because thoughts become things, which we'll talk about later. You have to be careful at how you look at it. You can build something up in your head where you could be creating obstacles and saying, "Oh, that's Mercury retrograde," when it's really you. But I digress. Anyway, so just a table of contents, real quick. The box is going to talk about sleep, herbal actions for sleep, the energy lifestyle, feng shui for energy, herbal actions for energy, the importance of ritual, so Elithoro monograph, Ginkgo monograph. That's basically like the description. I love that they tell you. They don't just send you herbs and you don't know what's going on. But let me get into it. And then how to make a decoction, how to make a tincture, bonus recipes, and a study checklist. Like, this is helping me to learn more about. It's one thing to take a class, but I pay these people a month, and they send me this box, and they give me the education, and they make me focus on it enough where I can learn enough about just two or three herbs in that month. And that's what you need, right? Like, a lot of us, I mean, yeah, I love the idea of a traditional class or something like that, but I get, I don't know, something happens to me the older I get. I'm worse than some of these kids. I can't pay attention that long, but this is good. Anyway, so they sent me this loose leaf tea, first off to start, and it's for energy. So they tell you what's in a tea, so no surprises. So what's in this? It's organic peppermint, ginkgo leaf, organic Eleothoro root. I've never heard of that, so I'm going to learn about it. Organic eucalyptus, organic ashwagandha. So I've heard a lot of positive things about that herb. Then they send you these. So these are great, and I haven't put together my herbal study book yet. I've made a binder, but I've just been sticking this in a folder. I want to actually put these on a piece of paper or board or something, but like, look at this. Valerian, or actually Valeriana is the official name. And then this is how you can see how I'm pronouncing it. Eleuthericus. So there you go. Hi, thank you for coming. The Princess Diaries and Dylan. Ginkgo babola. Biloba. Yeah, I struggle with that. But there you go. And it's just the cardboard backing to make sure it's didn't get messed up in travel. And as always, they come with labels for you to label the jars. So I got two of these jars, and they give you labels, which I have some stuff on my shelf back there. And then you always get like a gift or something. So this is the extra gift that I got. It says centered focus therapy balm, rosemary, mint, and clary sage. Clear your head and focus your mind. So, right, another good thing. So let's smell it. In your previous video on taking leaps, I took the leap and uploaded a video. I did it live last night. Oh, congratulations. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I will go watch it. I'm glad you did that. Oh, it smells good as I got on my nose. Let me put some like right here. Oh, that's nice. It's minty, is what I would think. But this, you know what? This is really good. I can understand clearing your mind. Yeah, I like this. Actually, this is cute. I like this. Stop, apply to pulse points, wrists, and temples. Inhale deeply, reset your mood. Perfect for that. Okay, so then you get these little bags, which you can use for straining and things like that as well. And these little bottles. Now, they don't give you the same color bottle. This is the first time they gave me a green one, which isn't that cute? Little dropper. So you get two of those. Then some seeds, which I plan on planting, some valerian herb seeds. So you got those. They're in a little baggie. Um, and they even tell you what to do. Light, like sun, part shade, water, average. Tells you what zones. Surface, so the seeds at temperatures at 65 degrees. So that's good to know. I'm somebody who needs, I need directions. I can follow directions. So here's what they sent. Or here are the herbs. The Aletheora. I got to figure out how to say this. Root cut and sifted. So there's that. Let's see what that looks like, right? Let me see. Okay, so it looks like sawdust. I'll try to put some on my hand so you can see. I don't know if you can see. You see that? It looks like straw. That's what that is. It don't have no other real smell. Then again, my hands smell like the lotion hand lotion I just put on them. So who's to say? This is the valerian. Root cut and sifted. It's 1 ounce of each. Oh, that smells like, well, it doesn't smell, but it smells. A few minutes ago, before your vlog, I found your vlog channel. Oh, the what? You know, I've abandoned that one. I was, you know what? Because I had some ideas. I'm obsessed with cleaning videos and stuff like that, so I did a couple of those, and I may come back to it because I have some ideas, like my planning stuff. Like I go in on crafts planning and all that stuff, and I mean, I'm a witch doing it, but sometimes it's just a craft. Sometimes it's just cleaning. I'm not doing like something spiritual attached to it. So that was going to be the outlet for that channel. But I didn't, I didn't keep going. I don't know what happened. I think, I just felt like it was a lot to build up another channel. That was more work for me. That's really what it was. But I would like to come back to it. And then they give you a health disclaimer. So this is everything you get in a box. I like it. I like this. I have not, it's been on point. They have classes which I signed up for and conveniently twice missed. I can watch the replay, but life has been hectic, so I haven't had an opportunity to do it. I'm learning or relearning a skill right now that I had before that I'm going to be able to use going forward. And I'm a bit of an overachiever at times. When I care, I really care about something. So I'm trying to give it my all. So I'm kind of, I go all in. I'm a great friend to have when you're starting something new because I'm a cheerleader. I'm right there. It's like, oh, what do you need? Do you want me to help you? Do you want me to do something? I get really excited in the beginning. As it goes on, so the next thing is the Complete Grimoire. Um, and thank you, the Princess Diaries, because she helped me with this. But pick this out. I believe it or not, I read it cover to cover, and I know this is not something you would normally read cover to cover. You would look at it, but I was really curious about it. This book actually is a really good book if you are just getting into the craft. or you have been in, but you've not had, you still have a lot of questions. And you might be a little embarrassed to ask. You watch YouTube videos, you look at other books, but the way they explain, this particular author explains things, it's bite size. It's not chapters on herbs, it's not a whole chapter on, Beltane or altar tools and things like that. It's in a bite-sized way where you're like, I understand that. And you can move on. Like there's this, and the artwork is really nice. So it's not a brand new book. It's not been out for that long either. But I think it's something that you would want to add as a quick reference to your Witchy library because it's just good information. It's the basic 101 information, yes, but I do like it. For instance, like I know this week I'm going to be talking about moon phases, and this is a great reference talking points, honestly, for me to use. I even thought I was like, this kind of makes it a little easier because it's right here for me. Um, oh, I thought I saw something else. Anyway, yeah, so like it's just I don't know, and the illustrations are really nice in here too. And look at this scrying section. It's not a lot of detail. To me, it just makes you want to just get in and do it. Like you could keep talking about it, or you could do it. I like the layout of the book. It's a great reference book. It is a great reference book, but I also like this is so nice. This is so nice. I really like this book. And this is something I would like to keep. Like, you could keep it around. It's not, let me tell you, well, first of all, I'll speak for myself. It's not that I don't know things or can't remember things. It's just that sometimes I have recall. It's in there, recall. And I got to go look. I write things. Maybe that's why I like to write things down in 50 million planners and journals and Book of Shadows and grimoires and everything like that. Because I've been around for a while. I've got some information all up in here. I'm learning new things all the time. And sometimes, recall can be a problem. I'll just say that. So have it for somebody like me, and if you're like that too, it's good to keep bite-sized information because she does it. It's not a really gigantic book. It's a good reference book. But if you were like, hey, I know Letha's coming up. I know that's coming up. And I'm like, and you're like, what do you do then? What's that about? It's not that you've never celebrated or anything like that. Maybe you're just trying to figure out like what colors. I forgot that's summer solstice. You can come here and there's a list of activities to do. Um, and just go with it. Nice artwork. I don't have the best memory. Okay, so then you know what I'm talking about. But they have like a recipe. Let's say you just want to do something. You could be doing things with other people, or you want to participate. This is the year you finally do it. He's like, you know what? I want to do something. This is a great book to reference to just, get some activities for that. It's not just about the wheel of the year, but that's just one section. And they have like a section on divination and they go into it. Like it's really a cool book. The correspondences is another section that is worth checking out just to kind of like when you have something like we can't look, we learn it, but you might not, like I said, be able to recall it. For instance, orange, the color orange. You're like, oh, is it happy? Yeah, happy, but that's about it. Happiness, opportunities, strength, vitality, that kind of stuff. Brown, the color brown, yeah, grounding, yeah, you can get, but material goods, decision making or home, that kind of stuff. So this is really helpful, which leads me to a thing I just want to talk about real quick. I have a bunch, probably from doing this witchy review, I have a bunch of books, journal, like that you can write in that I own and I have not written in them. I have not done any of the exercises in these books. So, because of that, I would love to start a series on my channel and join me if you suffer from this, where you have all these books, all these little journals, like guided journals. It doesn't have to be witchy, whatever it is. If you just want to work with somebody and you've been meaning to get to it and you have it, I'm gonna have a video. Sure, we're gonna do a video. I'm gonna do a video, and I'm gonna work through mine, and I'm gonna encourage you to work through yours, and it's something we can do together. So there you go. And there's probably more on my shelf. I tried to grab what I could before I started, but like this is still, and then this is just these are the ones you write in. They're still the ones that they require you to do things during, after you read the section. Like it's the because I got the deck. Dang, I can't. The African Goddess. book. It's that purple one. She has wonderful activities and ritual and spells to do. I just been struggling to like get it all done. So we're gonna do it together. So you'll know Mika's gonna post a video and you're gonna have your stuff and we're gonna work on it together. Let me have here. I have one spell that I know how to do. It's pretty simple. It's my Hypnos hot chocolate. Ooh, it's a sleeping spell. That sounds good. I like the first of all, I'm in when you say hot chocolate. I have a lot too that aren't written in. Yup. I have so many guided journals. There you go. So I'm gonna do it and we're gonna work on these together. So I'm gonna do a thing and it'll be basically me writing in, which will prompt you, go get your stuff, and we're gonna do it. And we're gonna take one of these books and we're gonna write it in. And it's not so much about, oh, I don't need it because I know all this stuff. Well, good. Then you should have fun explaining it. Like the witch's code. Have you obeyed the code? Like I can write about that because I have not always obeyed the witch's code. I have not wished well on people before because I'm human, because they've done something I thought deserved to not, they did something really bad and I wanted bad to come back to them. So, I would go deep into that in just this little paragraph section, but you get my point. We can sit and we can, have a little chat. We could talk about it and fill out our little workbooks and our books like that. So I'm going to introduce that for sure so we can so we can not waste our books. And now I want to talk about the current events. So now that we've had the review, so we're going to go into Kevin Samuels. Let me take a sip of my little drink here. Kevin Samuels has passed. If you don't know, by now it's been confirmed. His mother confirmed it. I saw ABC News Network confirmed it. It's confirmed. The man has passed away. I believe he was 56 years old. If you don't know who he is, Kevin Samuels, consider yourself lucky. I'm being honest up front. He was someone who had a YouTube channel and he was on other social media platforms. I believe he did private coaching. He was basically an influencer of types, but he was a man who said a lot of things that were honestly right. He was black, by the way, but he was, to me, just speaking negative racist stereotypes and furthering white supremacy ideals, specifically geared toward black women. Stereotypes, things like that, saying things that were just devaluing of people. I don't want to go into all the things that he did and said, but listen, you live your life, you create a legacy. People they know your life. Your life is your obituary, right? And it wasn't good from my perspective. He spoke very negatively to me about black women. And in his death, he was with, one, and it's important that I say this. One of the things he would say to black women is, if you said something in contradiction, or, if you were overweight, fat, or not fitting an ideal which stays within the white supremacy ideals in my, and patriarchy and so forth, he would make comments, and say, you're going to die alone. So he ended up dying alone because he wasn't physically, there was a person there, but it wasn't a person of significance to him. The woman that he was with, he had a cardiac arrest. That's what he died from, apparently. I don't know if they said the man had Viagra in the system. I did say he was 56 years old. And I don't know if it was cocaine. I've heard, listen, the internet, they on fire right now about all these things. But also, apparently he had a problem with women being nurses. I didn't listen to this man's channel because I refused to give him the views. But I would see clips of other people talking about it, like more than one person. So it wasn't doctored, because his devout followers, oh, that's doctor. He didn't really say that. Yeah, he said a lot of things, including, to me, advocating for sexual assault against children. But that's another thing. Anyway, so yeah, the woman he was with, she was a nurse, and she was found she called the police or called the 911 to get some help for him, and she said he fell over, and I don't know if he fell on top of her or he fell. I don't know what that meant, but that's what's in the police report because the police report is on the internet. So she is a non-black woman, by the way, and she is also a thicker woman. She's not anywhere near skinny. She's a fuller figured woman, which would be contrary to all the things that he was saying. But anyway, also he was with a non-black woman, and he had a lot of. He was supposed to be a healer, and his. I heard a lot of his weird followers putting things like that. He was a healer. He wanted to heal the black community, in relationships and things like that. Um, yeah, telling women that they're going to die alone, and um, really going in asking, "What do you weigh?" Um, and the more recent comments before his death saying things that I saw somebody's clip of him asking this woman would she believe her child over her man. He used himself, we got together and we have two kids and you already had a kid, and then your kid is 5. Like, he's really saying all this sort of stuff. And then your 5-year old, now she's older, it's 10 years later, she come back and say, oh, he saw me getting out the shower. Would you believe her? I'm like I'm giving you the highlights, but this is what this man said. And the person was like, of course. And it was a video conference, they were going back and forth. And she says, yes, of course I believe my daughter. I mean, you're supposed to protect your children. And he was like, so you would just blow up everything on what she said. And he was basically saying, don't believe your daughter. Like, who says, first of all, you said that freaked me out right there. Like, the other stuff was horrible, but that really got me. And that was one of the more recent. That was just late April that he had did that. So this wasn't like somebody had to dig up from back. That was like April. So, and then just the week before, he said, if you're a black woman, it's just us. If we're over 35 and not married, never married, we're leftovers. So that sort of thing. Again, just talking really horrible. So word on the street is somebody put a root on him. Somebody put something on that man. Somebody did some work on that man, and that's why he's dead. And here's what. I'm not going to say I don't think that happened, because he pissed off a lot of people, and he might have pissed the wrong person or groups of people off. What do you have here? He was known for attacking, basically saying we're worthless. Yes, basically saying we're worthless. He clearly, and if you had standards, you couldn't have standards if you're a black woman who's 35. You could be making, $700,000 a year. You could have all your stuff together, be highly educated. He used that against you if he was educated. That much I did know, because he made comments about, oh, you sit up there, you're alone with your degrees, you're going to die alone. So there's that. This is an interesting, take what you will. Like, I don't want to go on and on about Kevin Samuels, because I didn't go on and on about this man when he lived, because I try to ignore him. But this story, this his life, the negativity, there's something to take away from this. One, your life, how you live your life is your obituary. Um, doesn't mean you can't live your life and never make mistakes or do things. But he doesn't consider. I'm pretty sure this man didn't consider anything he was doing a mistake or something he would need to correct later. Um, you know, he died alone. He wasn't married, twice divorced. Um, from what I'm hearing, his mother says she didn't even know that he died until she saw it on social media. She's angry about social media, where it's like, well, were you not an emergency contact? Like, how did they couldn't get in touch? Apparently, she couldn't be getting. They didn't know where to get in touch. No one could reach her, or talk to her, because he didn't do that. The apartment that he was leasing, he was in an apartment. It's the whole thing, the whole thing. He was living in an apartment. So these women who will call and say, I make 6 figures, I'm educated, I think I'm an attractive woman, and yes, I have 3 kids, and I still want a man who makes at least as much as me. I make $200,000 a year. Is it crazy for me to want that too? and for him to berate women and go in on them about their looks and their weight and everything else. Um, he was in an apartment. He lived in an apartment. Now, I'm not mad at nobody for leasing because I lease. Fun fact. I don't mind sharing that. Um, this market is so crazy. It was supposed to be this was supposed to be a time I would be buying here. I've been living here for about 3 years, almost 3 years, over 2 years, and things went so crazy in Arizona. I don't know how. I feel like I'm priced out. I don't know what to do about that. That's another conversation. Anyway, he was leasing though. But see, I'm in my 40s. He's 56. And I always, since he wants to, somebody like that, when you're talking about traditional roles of men and women and things like that, as a man, why don't you have your stuff together? Why are you leasing an apartment? And apparently it wasn't in his name. So that's another bit. So how you live your life is your obituary. And death, which makes me think, I've come to terms with my death. I can tell by the people's reaction out here that they are struggling with the concept of death. Um, he was a polarizing figure, but just in general, like people, you can tell in just the comments in the different areas that I'm in across Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, here on YouTube. Just go, you can get a picture of people's concept of death and what that means. Yes, he was a twisted man. Um, he's okay with it. What was he think exactly? He was twice divorced, a hypocrite. Yup, he brought his karma on himself by having such an ugly energy. Disgusting. The danger and the bigger part of the story is words matter. Um, Obviously, everything we say does not affect the universe entirely in our lives and everything like that. But it does matter what you are intentionally saying. This man was able to help shape and organize his pathetic followers who are really on this energy of, yeah, who are you to want my money? Nobody wants you. First of all, you don't make it. The type of men who were following behind this dude, no, you didn't have you gold diggers are not coming for your money. Like, calm down. You don't make enough money to be even in their category, but you are putting this on women who are not even having this type of expectation from you. The problem with, in my for me, the problem with women and men like that, um, who follow him, there's always opportunity for violence. When women follow behind, let's say we could compare some of these other women out here pushing the femininity movement and things like that, and some of it is really just wear a wig and makeup. To me, that's what you really tell me. Wear a wig and makeup and more conservative clothes and look. Again, we're still back to following these ideas and things like that that just they don't make sense for us. But I digress. So even those women, the harm that they can most do is probably mess with your self image and make you kind of. I mean, he was doing that too. Mess with your self image and make you kind of hate yourself. The There's that, but his platform, the way he used it, yeah, he was making. So I'm sure he affected some women like that. But the men, you got to be careful. We've seen this play out. Wasn't it in Atlanta? It was some years ago, not that long ago. He was white, he wasn't black, but this guy went into a nail salon and shot it up because he couldn't deal with rejection. There's a lot of stories like that. We already know that that's happening right now. Especially if they feel like, who are you to reject me? I consider myself this. You're beneath me. You're this. Following behind this man's words and things like that. I'm just saying, words matter. And as a practitioner, I can tell you 100% where I speak words, I speak my intentions out loud. It's not just about lighting a candle, it's everything. It's your thoughts, it's what comes out your mouth. That's the element, the air, all of that. What you speak, that's the. Oh, sorry, I got a message in my ear on the other end, and I got the volume up like to scare me half to death. Oh, that was my dad. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, so your words matter. You're speaking a spell. So I don't man, I got ringing in my ears. Why is this man doing this to me? I don't know how anybody can make it seem like it didn't matter what he was saying, that it was just about his opinion or things like that. We left opinion a long time ago. It's not me, I never watched it, but let's just be honest. I not even just myself, I have a daughter who's in her 20s who's out here, navigating the world, wanting to date. She can come across one of these weirdos that follow him and they have a certain idea. Well, hopefully she catches that immediately. But, well, one, I can tell you, if he admitted to saying, yeah, he watched Kevin Samuels, she'd be like, no, I can't talk to you. No. On just that alone, I don't care, but how would he accept that rejection if he felt like, well, she's not a skinny girl, so she should be happy I'm even talking to her because I'm a high value man or some other crazy stuff. Like, I think about like that sort of stuff. Um, I like that your life is your obituary. Yeah, so yeah, I'm a gold digger proof. I got $10 in my account. There you go. There you go. Go. This gold. First of all, this, which is a larger picture that needs to be broken down, that needs some healing. And here's the thing: I would love to put that energy out there, and I'd love to just do some overall healing magic toward to help Black men to just heal better. And I say this because I see proof that Black women are working toward healing themselves. They are getting closer to spirituality. You see it, you see so many of them, and people make fun of it, saying, "Oh, well, they're everybody wants to be a witch." It's good, everybody be a witch. I love that everybody wants to be a witch. I don't see anything wrong with that. Go ahead, show off, do your stuff, get sage. Oh, everybody wants to sage. Good, everybody, good. Sage, do whatever you want to do, smoke, cleanse, whatever. I think that's a positive thing. I'd rather that than, Bible thumpers coming around with some crazy rhetoric, contributing to more violence and abuse. I digress. I just got a book about masculine archetypes. It talks about the main four archetypes and then the subparts of them that are negative. The mature masculine and the immature masculine is talked about too. There you go. Yes. A lot of immature, yeah, it's a lot of immature beliefs. And in my opinion, the guys who would, and women as well, who really took their time and invested their time into listening to Kevin Samuels. Even people who call themselves listening to him for entertainment because they just got a kick out of watching these women get humiliated, and they would just shake their head and say, why did they put themselves up to that? To me, I think that maybe some work needs to be done. You need to do some self-analysis, because if you're okay with that, there's something that he's saying that you believe is true. And a lot of people don't want to hear this because I don't think that's true about me. If you don't feel, let's just be honest. If for the woman who's out there and maybe she's with a man who don't make a lot of money and things like that, listening to him, it makes your situation okay because, well, I know I'm attractive and my dude don't have a lot of money, so and you enjoy watching that show, so you're sitting up there like, I mean, maybe some of what he said, why would she think she deserves to have all this, and she don't look like this, and she don't look like that, and it kind of makes you feel a little bit better. And you feel like maybe she's being told the truth, especially for the women who get with this, and for the woman who, she's a little extra curvy or maybe even a lot curvy, and she's seeing these women up there, yeah, I make this money, I do this, and I want a man who makes this kind of money. And you think, and deep down, maybe you don't think you deserve that kind of man who makes good money because, you haven't gotten your weight down. So how dare she think she deserves it? And that's why you're okay with sitting there watching his content where he humiliates these women. That's just what I think. And as far as the men, I think a lot of these men are jealous of these Black men are jealous of Black women. I really do. I think they're jealous and resentful of their mothers. Yes, I tied it all back to their moms. A lot of Republicans say that the left is a cult, but yet they can't see that the right is also a cult. Yup, those women are pick me's. You are right, or at least have cult like tendencies. And Kevin Samuels' followers are like a cult to me. They sound like a cult. But even the women, they're all pick me's. Oh my God, they're so annoying when you just, why are you guys celebrating his death? Because he literally celebrated our death. He would, when you tell somebody you're going to die alone, which is basically saying sad, nobody wants you, no one loves you. That's what that means. That's what he was saying. He's wishing not, he's not, it wasn't necessarily wishing death. He's wishing that your death is, you know, horrible, that you don't feel safe, that you don't feel loved. That he wants you to go out off this plane with that feeling. That's what he was saying. So you want me to be sad about his death when that's what he wished for mine? No, I match energy. This is the same energy he was given. No, no, thank you. But no, I think a lot of these men are mad that their single moms raised them. And if they just would have did this, if they just would have looked better, if they just weren't so, fat. Let's just be honest. If they, because this is the kind of crap he would talk about with women. So if their mom just wasn't this, if she wasn't so dark, if her hair wasn't so nappy, if it wasn't this, then maybe his daddy would have stayed. Instead of seeing the real facts as somebody who was a single mom, shouldn't you be congratulating her and wishing her well and wanting to take care of her because she's the parent that stayed? Fun fact, some women, not many, but some women really do just walk away and they don't care too. You got women out there, it's not a common occurrence, but there are some women who be like, no, I ain't dealing with them kids. I can't do it. I'm not equipped to deal with it. And they don't. They don't. And somebody else, you got kids in foster care here, there. Some moms don't actually stay, but yours stayed. And she took care of you. And these men are really out here, and then they won't even do the work, the self-analysis, just a little bit to understand the connection to your mom and your aunties. That's who you mad at. You're not mad at me. You're not mad at other women who look like me. You're mad at them. For the man, especially for the black guy who's saying he don't even want to deal with black women no more. Well, do you mean your mom too? Because that's what you mean. We don't all have the bad attitude like your mom or your aunties. We don't all sit there and make you feel emasculated like your mom and your aunties did, because that's who you really pissed off at. It wasn't us. You don't even know me. You don't know my background. I didn't grow up like your mom and them. They had it rough, so that's why they kind of more rough now. But that's who you mad at. But they don't want to see it that way. I never understood the meaning of pick me girls. Oh, pick me in literally the essence of the word. Pick me. Could you pick me, please? I will do anything as long as you pick me. So I will speak negative about other women because I want you to pick me. It's like I'm not like the other girl syndrome. For the girls who want to appear tomboy. Oh, I know how to ride a bike. I know how to fix a car. I'm not like the other girls, that type. So you can pick them and see their value. But women who do that still don't get picked, especially by the Kevin Samuels followers. You still ain't getting picked. You still not gonna win. Sorry, you're not. But this just goes into, for me, thinking about self-care. And self-care is being pushed, right? Not push, well, push, but I even talk about witchy self-care. I mean, I try to practice my own self-care because it's important. Here's the thing about self-care. The more you practice it, the more you actually feel confident about yourself, hopefully. The more, at least, it's all, it's more inside work. Yeah, you polish the outside, and you drink the water, you try to do a walk in the evening or something. You try to do the things that keep you healthy. But even just doing those things, not necessarily painting nails and facials and all that. Let's talk about self-care for just drinking more water. There's something that happens, the fact when you reach the goal, hey, I really drink 8 glasses of water a day, you feel good. And let's multiply those days. After a while, you start to feel good about yourself. It's not so much about the physical, you physically look better. No, you feel better. And then that comes out as a physical thing. We know about this. This has a lot to do with glamour magic as well. So once you start doing that, and you're emanating like confidence and attractiveness out into the world, right? Believe it or not, some people really hate that. Some people don't like that. People that are actually around you, but even there's some people who detest that. And I'm not making this about a man woman thing, because I know for a fact there's some women that don't like that either. They don't like that you're showing that. See, they don't like it. Something about that upsets you because you might not be fitting an ideal. Notice I didn't make it about how you look, how you shaped, or anything like that. But people get on these ideas about what who's allowed to be happy, who's allowed to get married, who's allowed to exist in a way where they're living their life out loud. Who's allowed to do that? Well, if you don't have the right complexion, the right hair, or the right or the age, because I get that sometimes, you're not allowed to do that. Like, how dare you? Like, and they want to pick you apart, especially in the social media world, because in real life, nobody's usually walking up and doing that to you. But in social media, that's where it's happening. Statistics prove that having an involved father, the better the child will do in school, more likely to go to college, etc. Exactly. It's just a numbers thing. A lot of these men need some healing out here. They really do, because they're a part of the crew that will tear down a person who is confident and feeling attractive, regardless of everything that society is telling them. Because if you are a person of, we'll just go with a person of color at this point, you typically don't fit the European set. If you don't fit in that, if you're not blonde, blue-eyed, skinny, you don't fit it. Um, Even if you're skinny, your skin's off. So even if you kind of look a little white passing, your hair might be too, it's not the right texture, or there's something that either way you're just not ever fit, or you don't sound that way, or all the people around you come from other people who are colored. They don't match the aesthetic. Like, it's a thing. And most of us live our lives, and we live our lives and think we're beautiful in spite of that. We have to learn to just ignore it. You have to learn to teach yourself that um, it's not that important what they think. That's the kind of stuff that I know I've been telling my daughter, who was taller than the girls in her elementary, a little more broader. She wasn't heavy or anything. It's just, she just had a bigger body. She took up more space. And those girls, and we lived in the suburbs, it's mostly predominantly white school. A lot of times she'd be the only black girl in her class. And a lot of them, she said, they looked like they were so skinny, like in middle school. They were just built. Look, we're not all built the same. And they were very thin, and they didn't eat. And she was like, no, they don't eat. A lot of them, they pick at the food. They don't want to eat because they want to look skinny. Um, and that, the feeling, I remember her exact words were, I felt like I just took up so much space. That's why I said that. And I was like, what? This is a while ago. She told me this. We were trying on clothes. She said, I just felt like I took up space. So I had to have a conversation with her about that and what that meant. And, um, you know, basically try to pivot that entire conversation to, you should want to take up space. You deserve to have that space. They don't deserve. And it was the whole thing. In the end, she got it, and it's something that I try to reinforce even years later, because that's the world that we're in. So to have this person who's just spitting out language, and these men eating it up, and then using it out in society, because his little followers, it didn't just stop. They just received the information, it was over. Oh no, they go out. I believe Kevin Samuels is the reason why we got so many of these crazy podcaster guys going around just saying even more horrible things about women in general, because now we're out of the black women thing. You got other guys out here just saying horrible things about women in general, and just I really feel bad for people who are trying to date people who eventually want to get married and have children. That's who I feel for right now, because we are in a weird time where a lot of you don't know which one you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get one of these nut jobs that listens to these podcast guys and who are influenced by this. You don't know. I bought a journal to write notes in while reading my Archetypes books, but I love how it looks and feels and want to use it as a grimoire. Now, I do that. Yeah. Ooh, the notebook game is strong with me. Yeah, that was sad with her. It really was. That was sad. I hated that when she said that. I mean, I didn't say it, but I wanted to fight everybody for her and make it all better. But instead, I calmed down, and then I just talked to her about it, and reinforced. So it's not a one and done with me. No, we're gonna circle back. Because I don't want you to because she had been internalizing that for years. Because by that point she was older. She had she graduated college, and she was telling me this from middle school, and I didn't know. She was like, "Well, I'm better now," and I'm like, "Nah, no, she's not." I can tell by the way she said it. But that's horrible, right? to feel like you took up too much space, and like physical space, and I don't think, and just space in general, I think she meant, but definitely physical space. I hated that she felt that way. Um, and yeah, but the death thing, back to death, I think the other side, the other thing to take away from this whole debacle with this man and how he's lived his life and the negative things he said now, his death, is I'm seeing people say things like, oh, there's more to this story. I don't think he died. Like, people are questioning what's in the police report. Was he poisoned? Now, I'm not talking about somebody did work on him, but you can do work on somebody and they could, their heart, make their heart stop. Like, that's a thing. And he had cardiac arrest. But anyway, um, it's like they don't want to believe death because it's just not possible, because he held such a position, this hypocrite fake position that he put himself in. It was all, smoke and mirrors, but people, they believed it. And how dare he actually die? That's impossible. He couldn't have died. And then not really understanding what that means. And it just lets me know more society struggles with death. I'm not advocating to want to die. Like, I'm not ready to go. I still would love to do more things on this plane. Um, However, I'm not afraid. I'm not, and I used to be very much afraid. Those who are afraid will think of all these crazy ideas. These are the people who swear Tupac is still living. He's in a witness protection program. And believe what you will, it's comforting to believe that, because you'd like to believe that these people still exist. But the reality of it is, people, we're all gonna die. Nobody gets out of this alive. Nobody, unless you know something I don't know. Low key, let me know if you know. But if you know something I don't know, we're all gonna eventually die. And people really struggle. I mean, our entire culture is so afraid of death that we're obsessed with youth, which is silly because no one stays youthful forever. Um, I don't like to get too much into the conversation of, oh, black women don't age and all that. Nia Long, perfect example. She recently in an interview says something. She doesn't like when people say, "Oh, you're not aging," and she's like, "No, I'm very much aging." She sees herself. She's in that body. She knows it's aging, and it's not healthy. You think it's a compliment, but it's really a unhealthy way of thinking, that telling, oh, you're not aging. Aging isn't because you're associating that with negativity. You're associating that with bad, because ultimately aging represents the eventual death. And people are afraid of death. And conspiracy theories and all this around, oh, that's not what it was. There's more to the story. He was taking, somebody took him out, or oh, no. You're just afraid of dying. People die. We die. Life is fragile. Nothing is promised. And then another note on that. I keep seeing things that he died of an untimely death. I've seen that several times. And I can tell you, most of those people who wrote untimely death consider themselves Christian. I'm almost 100% positive. If you're a Christian and you're referring to someone's untimely death, who are you? Because the way I remember that, I remember some of that now. One of the things is, when God calls you home, that was in His time, and that's in God's time. That's in the Lord's time. You can't. That's why divination, and all that stuff, they don't like that, because you competing against God, telling somebody when they're gonna live, die, what's gonna happen. You can't do that. So who are you to question God? That's what I think when I see untimely. Just saying. two, 2 months ago, I watched a YouTuber reacting to a religious podcast that's misogynistic, and a viewer in the podcast called, asked, "Are you guys married?" Everyone there except the main guy said no. Wow. Yeah, I struggle with death. I feel like I need to work with it. Thanatos, Greek god of peaceful death, and Phobos, ooh, Greek god of fear. Um, it's been a journey. I was really, when I was younger, I was really afraid. Like, I really struggled with it. And once I had kids, I had to come full terms with it. I had to, because two things happened. I'm now fearful they're gonna die. That someone's an accident. Like, once I became a parent, you just want to protect those kids. Um, from anything that could not only injure them but cause their death. That's what you're afraid of. It starts immediately, by the way. As soon as you when you're pregnant with the baby, you're terrified about that not the baby being healthy. Then when you deliver the baby, the process, you're terrified. Then when you take the baby home, you're terrified. In the hospital, you're terrified. It's always there. The fear of death is always there, is my point. And then as they get older and try new things and just live, you're even more terrified of them dying. So I had to get comfortable with it. And then a new fear unlocked. Well, wait, what if I die? What's going to happen to them? And now I had to deal with that. So death was just there. It was something I was concerned about, and I had to make peace with it. And honestly, witchcraft helped me make sense of death. It's hard to be afraid of death when I'm pulling cards and I'm talking to the dead. When they're coming to me in my dreams, giving me messages that line up with the current modern situation, real world, and they're saying, go here, tell them this because this is going to happen, giving me messages, it's kind of hard to I have questions, but not questions. My question, what I used to feel like, what if there's nothing? What if I'm just don't exist? Because I do exist, the idea of no longer existing terrified me. That was my fear of death. I didn't think heaven, hell. I thought not existing. What if the atheists are right and there's nothing? Um, so once, I got further into spirituality and I had actual interaction and and it was reinforced because I continue to have interactions with them. And, all it's hard to feel. I didn't feel that way anymore. And that gave me comfort. That gave me peace. And then I started interacting with other people who had experiences. And with speaking to the dead who could talk to mediums, basically, not like me as a client, but like seeing, like listening to them and talking to them and understanding more, basically educating myself from a spiritual perspective, not religious. It really helped me to understand. And I was like, wait, so this isn't it. And then I was like, I was able to kind of just relax. And once I was able to relax into it more, then I could learn more. And then I could start to say, oh, okay. And I could apply what I was learning to how I felt. And I could start answering those real fear-based questions in my heart. Yeah, I never understood that untimely death. I have the same thinking as you. Yeah, the parental worry starts when you find out you're pregnant or your significant other is pregnant. Yeah, it's immediately. As soon as you find out, you're like, okay, now what? Like, oh my gosh, you just want to do everything to protect because ultimately that's what you're terrified of, death. That's what most of us are. And we're supposed to be triggered by that, by the way. It's to keep us alive. We want to live. So that's just a natural instinct to make us want to live. It's unnatural the way we are right now in the society. Overall, I think it's very unnatural because it makes us really be disrespectful to those who are aging, including this man. First of all, 35 is not old. That makes me sick when people are talking like 35 is old. It's nowhere near old. But anyway, the way they're taught, the way, this conversation about what it means to be 35 or 40 for that matter. And I used to buy into this. I thought 40 was really old when I was in my 20s. The irony now. I thought it was really old, and I realized you're you. It doesn't stop. Nothing like your thoughts, your feelings, your desires, your dislikes, your likes. It's all still there. It evolves more because hopefully you've gotten older and you expanded your worldview a bit. But you're still you. You're still that girl at 20. You're still that person at 35. You don't, it's still you. So this idea that in your 20s are looking at people in their 40s saying, why are he or she doing this? They shouldn't be doing that. They're too old. It's crazy. Like in the fact that this man was with a 20, I'm sorry, I'm back to Kevin Samuels. The woman, by the way, he was found with, who he had recently met like the night before, and she slept with him. She's on Instagram, by the way, so I'm not, pulling this out of the sky. She was like 27. This guy is is just even in death. Ugh, disgusting. Um, just a disgusting person. But yeah, death. I think a lot of this people really struggle with accepting it because they're scared of it. And once by the way, how to get over it, to help start getting accepting the inevitable and not being afraid of it, and just it is what it is, getting to that point. Part of it honestly is just getting older. Hopefully at some point you arrive there. I know that sound it that's how it's going to happen, right? Once you get older, people start dying. I know people who, first of all, the ones I know that are starting to die are a lot of black men who are in their early 50s. Whether it's the celebrities, guys I know from back home, they're dying because they didn't take care of themselves. Um, that's another thing. They didn't go to the doctors. They didn't invest in their health or anything like that. Not saying that healthy people don't die, but unless it's some other issue like cancer or something like that that took you out, heart disease is something you can avoid. One of the YouTubers that I enjoy watching is Telltale. He grew up as a Jehovah's Witnesses. Now he's an atheist. He reacts to religious nonsense. You know what? I do get delight in sometimes watching things like that myself. I do, from an atheist approach. I watch all kind of stuff. I was recently talking about this to somebody. I was like, if you saw what I watch, man, I remember one time I went down a rabbit hole. This is, I want to say this is in 2020 for sure. Because a lot of things happen in 2020, right? um, when we were at home and couldn't go anywhere. YouTube just became a very interesting place for me. So I remember it came up and things just pop up. I was like, what is this? I wanted to understand it more. And it started with a guy. He was a trans woman in his journey, or her journey now. So I'm watching it and I was getting into it, which led me to a trans man. And then that led me to understanding what top surgery was. And I was really fascinated with that because I understand what a mastectomy is and all of that. I've seen all that sort of stuff, because why wouldn't I go down a rabbit hole at a later date at another time about that? Of course I did. But no, this was different. And I wanted to understand it. So I watched more and more. And then next thing I know, all kinds of things were being recommended to me. But if you have watched it, you have like, are you trans? And I was like, no. Or is someone trans? No, not personally. I wanted to understand, so I just watched it all. I also enjoy Jacqueline Glenn. She's also an atheist that reacts to religious nonsense. Yeah. All right, good. Thank you for giving me that. Yeah, I will watch it, even though I'm not an atheist. At one point, I honestly thought I might be, years ago, because I just was so far removed from Christianity. But I was so influenced by Christianity that I couldn't figure anything else out. And at that time, I understood about paganism and other things under the pagan umbrella. But the way I saw it, it looks still very one God centered. And this is just was just a period of time. I literally didn't know any better. The internet was not what it is today. So there was no Google yet. So I didn't know. And then I learned. Back then it was just books, a lot of books. But then the internet was getting more of what it is, either chat rooms or things like that. And I was late to that game because, fun fact, a lot of people didn't. Most people I knew did not have personal computers. They did not have a computer in their home. So I'm very much Gen X, and not all of us grew up in a household, let alone communities, that they had a computer initially. I didn't have a computer until I was an adult woman and I could buy the computer. Um, but because of that, my daughter, she didn't have access to an in-home computer until she was like in elementary school. And like, let me think. I think she was like maybe 7. So then my son, by that point, he's very little, and I would buy them computer games. They still remember those games to this day, like those little learning games and things like that. But it helped them. And that's how they got more. So for like my son, from his perspective, computers were always around. My daughter, she remembers a time we didn't always have a computer in the home. We went from having just that one computer to, at one point, every person had a computer and maybe a laptop because everybody in the house became gamers. It was a whole thing. We all had computers. Well, even now, we all still have computers. Everybody has at least one, but most of us have at least two or an iPad. It's funny how life changes like that. Oh my God, thank you. I feel weird being witch pagan that enjoys atheist content creators. Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm right there. What you were saying. Yeah, I like stuff like that. One, because I feel like the conversation tends to be a little bit more neutral, a little bit more intelligent. Um, Also on TikTok, I don't remember this guy, but I think he's also he might be bi, but I think he's gay. But he used to be he went to a Christian based college to study the Bible, like he was all in, and now he's an atheist. And I think he was actually Mormon. So, which is the ex Mormons on TikTok. I get I love. I'm not. I have nothing to do with that religion. That was never a part of my path. But I want to hear what the ex Mormon have to say when they talk about like the other people saying the crazy stuff. Like I learned so much. I like it. One of my aunts came over 2 years ago, and one of the topics she shared said that her son doesn't believe in God. I held my tongue. He's allowed to be an atheist. Oh, yeah, that's a tough one, the atheist thing. Um, for many years, I want to say up until just a few years ago, people who knew me, family members, thought I was an atheist. I was a practicing witch, fun fact, the whole time, but they thought I was an atheist because I never explained to them I technically wasn't out of the broom closet. So some knew, some really didn't know what I was doing. So from their perspective, if you don't believe in God, you're an atheist. Period. That's it. Like again, how I was before, because I was with them in ignorance of just, and I don't mean to be mean, but it's ignorance because obviously we know monotheism is a thing, but there's a weird bubble that they're in where they don't know at all. Yeah, they definitely seem neutral. Yeah, they are much more neutral, intelligent conversations. It's my secret bread and butter. Yeah. I do enjoy, yeah, the ex, or not, well, they are anti, but ex Mormons on TikTok. I don't know how I got on that side. Really, that's fascinating. All kinds of things. I was on stripper TikTok for a while. Don't know how I got there, but it was interesting to see how they prep and the money they make and all that sort of stuff, and just telling me about their life. I found it fascinating. I love Leah Remini's show called, yeah, the Scientology and the Aftermath. It was awesome. Yeah, it was again something because you get peripheral information about these things, Scientology, because they're kind of secretive, right? I just knew you had to have money to get involved. I just knew you had to have a lot of money, and I thought they were like no blacks, but apparently, if you got a lot of money, you can get in if you black. But Tiffany Haddish talks about that. Seize the day, Dylan. You're posting too much. Please stop. Oh, why do you say that? Seize the day. Tell me why he's posting too much. Did you want to say something? I mean, I was about to wrap up, but if you need something to tell, you know, what you want to say something? Is he hogging your what you want to say? No, I'm waiting for you to type something. Okay, be blessed. The only critique I have gotten from atheists is that some have thought it was anti-science because I'm a witch. I had to explain to them. Yes, that is a thing too. Oh, you're a weirdo. All right, let me fix that. Be blessed. Be blessed. Yeah, that's not good. Let me go ahead and take care of that now. Ugh, troll. Yeah. Hopefully I got it in time. Are y'all still see? I tried to delete the messages. Hopefully it's not there anymore. But anywho, yeah, Danny Boy 30. I know that's also a thing. I know someone else who was telling me about that where it's refreshing on one hand, but on the other hand, it's like, wait, don't do that. Like I understand you feel that way, but is it just this, or they feel like there's nothing, there's no gods or goddesses or anything ever? And I can respect that, but like, don't. dip into my world. I'm willing to be respectful and listen to you, but aren't we all usually, as witches, we're usually very open. In my experience, we'll listen to others, with the exception of the fake light and loved ones. But for the most part, most of us are really receptive to hearing other people's stance. Even if we don't agree, we'll try to find something to connect on. But, oh, y'all going in. Well, I was about to wrap up, but y'all, oh, it's getting crazy. Monkey. Who's a monk? Me? Oh, I saw, ooh, and another one. Mm. But if you shave a monkey down, they don't have brown skin. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, it is very interesting when that happens, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and I was about to go anyway because I tend to want to keep it for about an hour. But remember, I'll be doing a video soon, and we're gonna get in our workbooks. Um, the Complete Grimoire is a really good to have. And my final words. I'm hopefully I delete it and try to remove most of the messages. But on Kevin Samuels specifically and the whole thing around it, takeaways for me is that yeah, the my takeaways are that people are afraid of death. That's why they were thinking of some other grand conspiracy. They struggle with the idea that this man was a hypocrite because the woman he was with was not no skinny woman. She was a thicker, curvy woman, and she was a nurse, which is something he reportedly say don't get with them. So there's that. He also, and also a takeaway from that is your life is your obituary. Remember that as you go forth with the rest of your life. That's your that is your legacy. Yes, children, all that, property, da 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 da. Your life, how you live, how you interact with people, the things you say, words or spells. So mind what you say. Somebody might do some work on. I'm just saying. And again, we won't ever really know, but it is interesting how it all came out. It really is. Thank you. You have a great day too. Everybody have a great rest of your Saturday. I'm gonna go ahead and get on and live my magical life, and that I'm grateful to still be able to live and try to watch my intentions today as well. All right, thanks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, consider hitting the join button as well. All right, bye.